Good morning, everybody. Oh, come on. So you can count on Christine, can't you, always, for a good cheer in the morning. What time is it in California? Special shout out to all the Californians here. So welcome. This is ESIP 101. I'm Peter Fox. I'm outgoing president of the ESIP Federation. And my only job this morning is to introduce Annie Burgess, who's the ESIP Community Director. And she's going to tell you about all things ESIP. And so welcome.
Good morning, everyone. So quick show of hands. Who's this the first ESIP meeting for? Yay! Welcome, everyone. All right, this is my first winter meeting too, so we're in it together. I started with ESIP last May, and so I've been to a summer meeting, but this is my first ESIP winter meeting. So I'm going to go through and give really a 101 talk. What ESIP is, how we work, kind of governance and structure, and really how to get involved and how to make it fun, because that's a big part of what we want to do. So again, my name is Annie. You now know my face with my name, so please, if anything comes up throughout the week that you have questions about or want to get involved in or want to know more about things you saw in the talk, please come up to me. I am your resource for the meeting. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started here. All right, so the ESIP vision is to be a leader in promoting the collection, stewardship, and use of earth science data, information, and knowledge that is responsive to societal needs. That's our put together vision. And this vision gets played out in lots of ways, and mostly or primarily driven by community. That we move forward with this ideal, not through kind of a top-down structure of us telling you this is our vision, but by our community coming together and really practicing these ideals. And this is how we think of the ESIP community. That it's really users, data providers, data archives, application developers, tool and system developers, and all of these people come across federal agencies, private industry, academia, really across the entire spectrum. And so ESIP is the place where individuals or groups from all of these different agencies and sectors can come together and work virtually and in person on some of the issues that we'll talk about today. And of course, I had to say fun in the beginning. We try to be light and fun. We have a set of core values over here: agile, collaborative, collegial, community-driven, innovative, neutral, open, participatory, voluntary. The list could go on. Aaron, our executive director, likes to say that we have a low barrier of entry, and we just like to say yes. So if you have an idea, we really want to foster that idea and let you come in and work with that idea, build community around that idea, and we're here to support that in an environment of all of these core values. And so how does ESIP so we have this large member base, almost 300 member organizations, and then there'll be about 300, close to 300 people at this meeting. But the people at this meeting are often just one or a few people of a much larger organization. And so one way we like to sort of kind of divide and conquer. So before dividing, everyone comes together within the ESIP space, and that's we call this the Interoperability Stack. And so we like to think of the top tier, the top two tiers in the circle as really where ESIP's space. It's where people come together and tackle issues related to data, software, and interoperability. And then they can go back to their home organizations where they came from and implement those principles into things like data sharing, data standards, SOA, service-oriented architecture, and into hardware. So we really focus on the bringing people together and the social side of issues related to data and software. And then we say, go back to the home organizations and implement those to your larger groups. And we see those impacts then move down through data and software best practices and principles and sharing. So now a couple more friendly faces for everyone to know. You can see this is the 2015 ESIP leadership. These faces will change for everyone that's new. The winter meeting is also a business meeting for ESIP, so we go through kind of a changing of the guard. So these are all people that are certainly very in the know about all things ESIP. So again, good friendly faces to know. And as of tomorrow morning at the annual meeting, there will be a new elected leadership. There are a few positions that we are aware of. The Vice President, Emily. Emily, can you wave to everyone in the crowd? And like Emily said, she's not shaking hands this morning because of a cold, but that was her virtual handshake to everyone in the room. Emily is our incoming president, so a big welcome to Emily at her first 101 morning session as ESIP president. And then your ESIP staff. Again, my name is Annie. I'm the only one wearing a hat. Then Dan and Annie Keys are up from Florida. They handle all things logistics related to Annie at the registration desk, and Dan with the ESIP Connects, the app, all sorts of great special projects. Aaron Robinson is our executive director. Aaron's in the front of the room. Aaron says hi. Rebecca Fowler is our communications director. Rebecca also started about the same time I did, so this is her first winter meeting as well. And Rebecca is ultra savvy at social media and communication, so a great person to talk to for your questions about how to communicate and distill and talk about your science. So we're a resource that's here for you this week for, again, questions and more ideas on how to get involved. So please feel free to get in touch with us. Okay, so a little bit more of the kind of rubber meets the road and what does ESIP do? So I have this graphic on the bottom that also scrolls through our website, and it says in-person meetings, monthly telecons, and online community. So a lot of what we do, a lot of maybe the chunk of time is spent in this virtual environment, connecting and collaborating ESIP members virtually. All the staff, we all work remotely, and our membership is spread across the United States and a few folks outside of the United States. And we want to connect those people in a virtual space. So a lot of what we do is there is the in-person meetings, then we, our ESIP collaboration areas meet monthly on the phone. We facilitate those calls, and also managing a wiki space, a general listserv, group of listservs. So those are some of the sort of tangible things. And then more of kind of, I'm kind of dancing up here this morning. Community-generated best practices. This is, I would say, one of the things that people often are drawn into ESIP for, a set of best practices that has come out of a particular ESIP community, has been implemented. We have a number of best practices that have been developed related to data citation, metadata standards, and these have come out of the ESIP community, a purely voluntary effort of people coming together and wanting to work on a common problem, and ESIP being the space that happens. The ESIP test bed is another thing that we do. This is a place where I think it's one of the more exciting, well, I do a lot of test bed work myself, so it's an exciting place within ESIP. I like to think of it as a place where projects that are maybe not camera ready, not ready to be proposed to NSF, not ready for that big next step of funding, that they can come in and get a small pot of funding that helps them get to that place. And so projects, we release 2 requests for proposals every year, and ESIP members can say, I have an idea related to, it can be a data set, it can be a piece of software, it could be an ontology, and you can bring it into the test bed and work on it and get a little pot of funding and have a space for that project to live online for you to develop it both technologically and conceptually. We also do professional development. There are trainings related to, again, the obvious ones, data, software, stewardship. These trainings happen online. There are some that happen in person at other meetings. Outreach, certainly, we use the winter meeting and summer meeting as outreach opportunities. There are also a number of outreach efforts over social media. We collaborate with lots of other groups in the earth sciences to kind of try cross-collaboration efforts related to all of this. Again, the virtual and in-person venues for collaboration, those are those online meetings, telecons, in-person meetings, so lots and lots of that. And then again, providing mini grants to make stuff happen. A lot of that work is in the test bed, but not all of it. And so again, it's giving you just enough money to move forward and get excited, but not enough to fund maybe your 3/4 of salary that you need to pull in for the year. So it's just kind of a teaser, but a really effective teaser to get the ball rolling on a lot of great projects. All right, so there's going to be a couple words that continue to come up when we talk about the ESIP community. The first is type. So the ESIP community is made up of 4 types, and these are data centers, so NASA DACs and Distributed Active Archive Centers, and NOAA, so these are the obviously pretty high-level organizations. Then there are type 2s, and so these are, again, these are our member organizations. So if you are NASA, you are considered a type 1 ESIP member. Government labs and academia, that's type 2. Type 3, application developers. So commercial, nonprofit, educational, those might be consulting firms that are developing specific tools for maybe one of the type 1s. And then type 4s are strategic partners, and that's NASA and NOAA. And those are the 2 primary funding organizations of ESIP. All right, now I'm going to talk a little bit about the collaboration area structure of ESIP. So I said NASA, we have these 4 types. So those 4 types bring their members into ESIP. Then we kind of shuffle them all up and then disperse everyone, or everyone doesn't disperse, everyone self-selects, I guess, into different collaboration area structures within ESIP. And so the first is an ESIP cluster. This is our least formal collaboration area within ESIP. So anyone in this room right now could send an email to our new Vice President, Christine, and say, I have a great idea for a new cluster. Who has the first cluster idea in the room? Anyone? Shout out 2 buzzwords related to earth science. Any 2 words. Climate change cluster. Christine gets an email and the ball is rolling. It's really just about as simple as that. And then the climate change cluster meets. They have 2 core members and a couple others on the side, or you become a robust, super active cluster, and then you want to hang up your hat. It's just as simple as the last person hanging up the phone and saying, okay, we think we've tackled all pertinent issues related to climate change. You go to, is it Copenhagen where the Nobel's handed out? Stockholm, you get your reward and say, all right, cluster work complete. Cluster can be dissolved. We have a list of our, oops. So that looks something like this. So here are the current ESIP clusters. And just because they're informal doesn't mean that a lot of incredible work doesn't happen in these places. It's just the easiest place for a cluster to come in and form. So the next step is a working group. And this is slightly more formal. It's created by assembly or by committee. It does have a budget. So a little bit of money, for example, to bring in speakers or other budgetary sort of items. More task-oriented. Here's a list of our current working groups. An example is the Visioneers. The Visioneers is a working group that comes together and gets feedback on these meetings. Both gets feedback to think about how we can improve meetings in the future, also works on coming up with our theme. Our fantastic theme this year, Frontiers in Earth Sciences Big Data, came out of the Visioneers group, thinking about how ESIP can be more social at meetings, how we can think of other great networking events at meetings. This is an open group, so anyone that says this winter meeting was fabulous, I want to input on how the summer meeting goes, the Visioneers is the place to be. And then our next collaboration area structure are committees. And again, these are also created by the Assembly. They're task-oriented. They also have a budget. And then we have, let's see, 4 standing committees and then 3 administrative, constitution and bylaws, finance and appropriations and partnerships. Pretty much sound like what they are. They do a lot of the kind of administrative tasks within ESIP related to committees and working groups, related to how we function as an organization. And so as I said before, we draw people from each of these sectors. Then they come to ESIP, and then based on what their interests are, people come and say, I want to work on this particular issue, and that might be in a cluster or working group or committee. So before I move along, does anyone have any questions about anything that I've said so far? All right. We're either sleepy or I'm incredibly literate this morning. All right, so again, these are ESIP groups. I'm just going to let everyone take a gander, look and see if they're any of interest. And again, participating or if you have interest in anything that you see on the screen, they have their monthly calls. Most people or representative from most of these groups are here. We can help connect you with them. But if there are any topics that you see, ESIPFed.org is a great place to go and find out about when their meetings happen, and it's as simple often as jumping on a call. I met someone recently that she had once, and there were only 4 or 5 people, and I was a little nervous about introducing myself, and so I got off the call, and I said, oh man, you know, that's 4 or 5 people, then it's really easy to introduce yourself and jump in. But to her, that was a little daunting, that it was, it seemed like everyone just got in and business started and everyone started working together and talking about the issue that they were there to discuss, and she was a little daunted. But that's a place where we like to think of ourselves as that open, welcoming, and friendly community. So I hope if that seems like you want to participate, but you're a little hesitant, that I really encourage you to get on a call and say hi. And if you're a little nervous about that, then myself, Aaron, Rebecca, Dan, and Annie, we're often on a lot of the calls and can do introductions. So again, open and friendly. We'd love for you to join in as much as you can. All right, so again, here's just a brief overview of what I just talked about related to ESIP groups and collaboration areas, clusters, working groups, committees, and the assembly. I guess I haven't said anything about the assembly at this point. One partner, one vote. So tomorrow morning is the ESIP assembly will meet. And again, I spoke about our member numbers. Each member has a voting rep, and that voting rep has one vote related to the business at hand. All right, so of course we are online. You automatically have access to the wiki space, and you can really hit the ground rolling. We are on Twitter. I hope everyone, I'm sure if you're not awake, your thumbs maybe are to put something out on social media this morning about your excitement about being in DC on this balmy January morning. ESIP Fed is our Twitter handle. All right, so this is kind of our how to jump in and get involved. So clusters, we have a lot of them. We can always have more. So if there is a topic that comes out of this meeting with a great success story, I think it was a year ago before I had started, people had a conversation about drones in data sciences, which are growing up, not literally, figuratively, hopefully maybe some of them are. The drone cluster will tell you about those exciting experiences. So there was a conversation that came out of the meeting not long after the drone cluster was formed. They've been doing fantastic work. Lindsay Barberry, one of our student fellows, gave a talk at ASU Ignite this year about drones that was really exciting. So that was a fantastic kind of startup cluster that came out of one of our meetings. Again, we have a winter meeting in January, always in DC. Hopefully we'll be here or somewhere near here in the future. Summer meeting this year is in Chapel Hill, and so not too far, just at the end of July. Partnership, if there's other organizations, or again, any of those, anyone that would fit into those types, it's a pretty large blanket, that these people benefit in participating in ESIP, they can become one of our member organizations. So please feel free to reach out or ping us, and we'll reach out. Hosting a summer meeting, if there's a place they can house 300 people, feed them, bathe them, have them come together, sing and dance, talk about data, let us know. We're always interested in new summer meeting locations, and again, come and chat with one of us. Consider running for office. We have some pictures that I showed about ESIP leadership, which are places that people can come in and get involved if you want to be a new chair of the community. Those partnerships, and then let us jump in and get involved. That's what works. We really think this group is a kind of a democracy, that the cluster will work if everyone involved wants to make it work, and that kind of spreads out across the organization, that people really deciding that they want to work on an issue and coming together and collaborating. That's what makes the organization work. So that's why there was an exclamation point there. All right. So with that, I'm going to invite another friendly face up to the podium, Christine White. Christine's our incoming vice president, and Christine's going to talk about, she's the outgoing chair of the Products and Services Committee. Products and Services Committee, there's lots of things some funding Friday winners in the audience that are on this photo. So with that, Christine. Thank you, Andy. So products and services is one of the standing committees of ESIP, and it is really an exciting thing to be involved with because we get to, well, do the fun work of writing calls for proposals, but actually vet the projects that come in and get to grant funding, which is very fun. So, and that's one of the things we do for the test bed. And the test bed is changing quite a bit, and you'll notice that in the agenda, there's sessions that will talk about the test bed and what it is and how to get involved and the trajectory. It's been evolving and changing in exciting ways. And we'll talk about that throughout the whole meeting. So there's these test bed opportunities Andy talked about, and then there's Funding Friday, which is another way to do a proposal to get funding from ESIP. And it's called Funding Friday because it's so fun. So what we do on the summer meeting is we'll convene. Typically in the past, we've done it either in the morning, before breakfast. Lately we've been doing it as a happy hour social where anyone at ESIP is invited to come. And the idea is you come, you introduce yourself, you pitch an idea, or you pitch a skill set, and you connect there at the meeting to carry out I hate to use the word agile, but a dynamic, innovative little idea that comes together at the meeting. So you might be a rock star coder and you want to use your skills for good and not evil. And so you come and you say, I don't have an idea, but I have skills. And then someone from sometimes one of our partner organizations or a fellow student or member comes and says, oh, that's great, I have an idea and I need a coder. And then you meet and you make a poster, and the next day the whole ESIP community that's there at the summer meeting votes on the poster. It's not an artistic challenge, it's a you pitch your idea and you get to carry out your idea and present it at the next meeting. So the point is, it's a great way to get involved in ESIP, an easy way to get involved, a fun way. And even if you aren't going to do a poster and pitch your Funding Friday idea, I always encourage people to come and hang out because it's a lot of fun and it's creative and collaborative and a great way to make connections. And it's just, I know, a different little pitch too. We're doing a little lunch birds of a feather on Thursday to brainstorm ideas on how to make telecoms more fun. Chris Linus is running that session, that bird of a feather, not super formal, should be fun in itself. So that's another way to get involved, come and be part of that vision casting. Thank you. ESIP works all over. Chris and I were at the IEEE Big Data meeting not long ago, having lunch, and the issue of how to make telecoms more fun, not an oxymoron necessarily, came up, and we're sitting around lunch, and he said, you know, we're a great place to have a conversation about how to make telecoms more fun. It would be ESIP. And so ESIP works its magic at meetings and outside. And when things come up outside of the meeting, we think because of that, propose it and want to have an idea, that ideas can come up at other meetings and we can bring them here and create a space for them and create a community around them. So even though that's in the realm of silly fun ideas, that's another really great example of how we work. So with that, I'd like to open it up to questions from anyone related to, again, how we work governance-wise, how the collaboration areas work, really anything under the sun. So, anyone have any questions? Yes, Christine. Sure. I asked this question because I know some of the answers. I think it might be interesting to the broader group on what are other outside organization efforts you might be involved with, like GEO and roles we play in our relationships with other
necessarily partners, but science organizations.
Sure, yeah. So Christine mentioned one organizations like GEO and EarthCube. ESIP's role, let's see, I might actually pass it back to Peter Fox on that one. We'll get an elegant response to how ESIP interacts with GEO because it's an exciting, evolving relationship.
Thanks, Christine. So actually, in my opening remarks this morning for the main meeting, this was actually one of sort of my ending points for placing ESIP in the larger context of data-related organizations, professional societies, observing systems, both nationally and internationally. And so I'll continue for you what it looks like. ESIP's role really is heavily oriented towards the working organization to bring people together in a collaborative space and in mutual space outside their agencies, outside their regular institutions, even outside the projects that they're funded to work on, to sort of look at new interesting activities. Over ESIP's history, which is now over 17 years, it has sort of worked its way onto the radar of many professional organizations such as the American Geophysical Union, the Geological Society of America, the American Meteorological Society, on a national level, as well as international organizations such as the World Data System, the International Committee on Data for Science and Technology, and the Group on Earth Observations, which is also only about a 10-year-old organization, which is an international governmental organization, really, that coordinates Earth observations worldwide. And so ESIP is a member of GEO, ESIP is a member of many of these organizations, and those organizations are members of ESIP. So there's a reciprocal arrangement whereby at the organizational level, these organizations are important. What actually happens in reality, it's members that are exchanged. The people you go and show up at these meetings, and strike up new collaborations to pull people about what you're doing, and just sort of disseminate and receive benefits from participating. So it's a highly collaborative and I think increasingly non-competitive approach to what we can all share in terms of making data matter, which is ESIP's logos. You can see the second last slide in my opening remarks this morning, because I just said it. Got to rehearse it. Great. Does that help? Now, it's acronyms to for a little while. Maybe that's the other thing we should say about ESIP, and many of you will be familiar with acronyms too. Please try and break past that acronym and get a sense of what something like GEO really is by asking someone. There's many people in this room who know in great detail what it is, and maybe how you might want to get involved.
Great.
I'm John Smith from Florida State University, new ESIP member that's actually summer 2015. And I'm curious about, you talk about these clusters, how do we find out the results of clusters that no longer exist? I just looked online and I couldn't find any information about past activities that ESIP has done.
So I will say that the wiki space and the commons are a place that a lot of that activity lives. We don't, if a cluster decides to no longer meet, we don't go in and purge all of that content. Because clusters are so agile, they do come and go with more frequency than committees, so we don't want to erase all of that past history. And so the wiki space was probably the workspace for that group. The commons also is another place to look around. So using a search engine, Googling those activities might not be as fruitful as going into the wiki or going onto the ESIP site and looking for, there's probably some folks here or myself or others that could help you find anything you're looking for. But again, because we have that agility, the wiki space is the place that I think would house those past activities that we can go back to. And clusters have been known to also fire back up. That there's a group that gets something going, it lays dormant for a while, there's renewed interest, and they come back. So we certainly try to archive any past activities, including minutes and the like from meetings. So good question. Thank you. Any other questions?
So just to give an example, we thought we were done with web services, but apparently we're not. So there's a session we're on the agenda. Sorry, Scott's sort of leading the reintegration of web services.
Great. Any other questions? All right, I won't let us sit in painful silence too long. Please, everyone, enjoy smart coffee and snacks. Next, we'll be reconvening here for Peter's welcome remarks. And I hope to see and meet many of you the next couple of days. So thanks so much.